I'm back, and it's been a while. Hopefully, you're all doing well. Hello, welcome back. You might notice we've got a bit of a different UI. Overhauled 2026. Okay, I thought it's time we change up a bit. Went back to the drawing board. Had some ideas. Came back here and there, but finally settled on something a bit simpler. We're trying to get ourselves a bit bigger. We're trying to make people who come to the stream, because me and Mike talked, we spoke even, I should say, about people accusing people of being AI. And the consensus was, if you're too small, and long story short, I'm bigger on the screen. And it's got reason behind it. Hopefully it doesn't cover too many charts. Hopefully it doesn't cover too much on the screen. Again, we've also got, the timer. The timer. Every time. We've got a little thing on the right. We've also got a sidebar. We've got the sidebar, which I never thought I would have on the stream, but we do have it. I do have a bit more of a zoomed-in screen. I'm thinking of doing two screens. Again, this is early doors. And one of the saddest things about what I've overhauled is my training view theme to match the colouring we have on the screen. It means I don't have any of the lines I've drawn when it comes to what I've done. I have quickly gone through, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Syrup, and put the footnotes of what we talk about. It's also been a while since I've looked at the charts, so I've probably forgotten most of what I've talked about anyway. So it's a new year, it's new us. Okay, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff live anyway. So be excited for that. Now I will go to when we do go onto the chart. I do want to say the colours have been changed. We're now in a darker mode. I know the white was blinding people. It blinded me. I changed my monitor settings to not have a white blue light filter, and my eyes were burning after 5 minutes of looking at the charts. So I changed it to dark to fit this. So hopefully it's better for you guys. If you don't like dark mode, then you might not like the UI. I've also got a purple as one of the colours, and it's a bit dark. So we've got some work to do on the UI. That is to be said, but nonetheless, that's not for this stream. We are here to talk about what's going on. So, CoinMarketCap, I feel like it's been an age since I've looked at anything. I should probably bring up the market calendar as well. It's probably a good idea to do. Let me try and bring it up on here, because I haven't actually looked at anything. When I say this, I haven't looked at the charts. I don't even know when. I generally don't. It's been a long time. Okay, I've been reserved out of it. It's been obviously holidays. Hopefully you've all had a great holiday as well. I haven't really said that formally myself. Hopefully you've had brilliant holidays. Hopefully you've had, whether it be Christmas or whatever you celebrate coming into the new year. Hopefully will be a good new year for all you guys. With that being said, I might be a bit rusty this first stream. Again, I'm getting back into it. It's been a while. So looking at the economic calendar really, really, really quickly, doesn't really look like there's much of interest going on in terms of what would actually matter. Potentially coming into here on January the 9th on Friday might be something to watch out for, to look out, I suppose, and then probably Tuesday as well. But other than that, not really much going on. Going back to CoinMarketCap here. So, 7-day Bitcoin, 7.8% up, 94.2. Now, like I said, I'm out of the loop. I'm rusty. I'm very rusty. I haven't looked at the charts in a while. I've got a new theme, so it's gonna mess with my head a bit. I've not got majority of my lines on the screen. I think it's for the best. I think it's for the best that I move on and kind of shed the skin like a snake or a lizard shedding the tail, or a butterfly exiting the cocoon. I guess one of the many things you can apply to the situation. We don't have as many lines, but I think that's a good thing. And I'm going to try to keep on top of keeping it a bit cleaner. So 94.258 on Bitcoin. About 3.59% up on the 24 hour, which is pretty crazy. Again, I think the biggest news event which has happened in the past, I don't even know how, 24, 48, 72 hours, whatever, has been America trucking on along and stealing somebody. Physically stealing somebody and chucking them over to America. That I don't know how much that's really affected the market. I haven't actually been looking apart from yesterday and today. Haven't really looked too much at the market. So, but 3.6% up on the 24-hour is pretty crazy. Well, not crazy, but you know, it's a pretty hefty move, I would argue, when it comes to the 24-hour. So, pretty good day for most things. I see not a lot of red right now. So Ethereum at 3218. What I also noticed when I was copying over things from my last UI theme to now was, since what I remember saying last was 98, 97k for Bitcoin. I think that was the last thing I remember saying. The time I said that, entering into the last round of November, probably not early December, probably late November, what I've noticed is from the period I stopped doing streams to now, we've stayed at near the same price as when I last talked ages ago. So I think most of my TA will actually be similar to what I talked about in my last stream, or my last chart stream, which was however many days and days ago. So 3220 for Ethereum, 3.2% up on the 24-hour, 9.95%. That is actually very impressive, especially for the likes of Ethereum. Again, like I said, from what I know anyway, you guys are probably a bit more in the loop than I am when it comes to the charts, because I've really been off them right now. We're coming from a position of again, we've kind of been hovering in this area for a long time on most coins, from what I've glanced at anyway. Maybe not CERT, but especially the top three in terms of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. We definitely have been in a definite range, if you will. So coming from the lower end up to the higher end of that range, and then moving forward from there, which we are, that will lead us into not only having a massive move upwards, but also exiting this range. So I kind of see why we have big numbers relative to the 7-day, relative to right now anyway. XRP 9.39% up, crazy. I don't think I'm looking at XRP today. I do have the sidebar. I'm gonna try to keep up to, you know, keep up on the having the names of what I'm talking about on the right hand side, but mainly Solana here. 137. I think last time I remember talking about it, probably 1.2 something, 1.26, whatever it was exactly. But 11.5% up on the 7-day, 3% up 24-hour. Very, very happy. Very good. I mean, very, very good. I want to see max winners, max losers right now. Some names poo-poo to this coin though. What's really losing though? It's not that much. Very, very positive across the market. Again, like I said, I don't know. I haven't been keeping up the chart, in parallel to what's been happening with what America's doing right now. And obviously, America's the powerhouse of news when it comes to affecting charts. So I don't know if that's had much of an effect on the chart and when it started. I don't know the whole time frame. I haven't really been keeping up with it. But to see on the 7-day, filtering by worst case scenario, there's a handful of coins. I mean, it's 4 coins, and then it's stable coins. So it's been a very impressive week to see. Anyway, obviously we are on Monday. We are on the open. This is a moving 7-day, I think, as well on CoinMarketCap. So that's why it's 7%. So yeah, pretty happy. I'll actually be interested to see how the weekly's printed. I'm interested to see how everything's printed. To be fair, let me read the chat. I want to see hello to people. You know, it's been a while. I want to say hello. Venk, hello to you. Tariq is here. KB, even to you guys. Danny. I've been really, really appreciating what you've been doing on X as well. You've been really, really good posts. Mags, good evening to you. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you guys. What are you guys saying though? Let me see. I moved to the dark side. Yes, I'm sorry. I like light mode, and then I came back after month and a bit of not looking at the charts and realized this is hurting my eyes. And I just thought in that moment when I had this blue death light coming to my eyes, I thought, what if I'm in bed and I'm watching this on a phone or a TV? It's just like this floodlight in my eyes. I didn't want that anymore. And I thought, you know what? I should probably change this for everybody. So, yeah. I think it's... And also, we've got this colour on the background is the exact same colour of the chart. I thought I would kind of try and make it blend in. Hopefully it looks nice. The purple's a bit dark. I will probably change it, I think. Anyway. The force is stronger that one. I'm sucking Bitcoin to 100k to then dump it. The Oracle, is there any hope? Well, we'll see. Again, I don't even know what my opinion is right now. I don't even know what my opinion is because it's been a while since I've looked. I think I remember what I was talking about, and I don't think we've done that much in the course of a month and a bit, which has really broken what I've talked about. So I'm gonna probably keep the same opinion. Looks 30 years older because of all the rust. Yes, I need to get some W40 and just have a bath in it and just get it all off me. So yeah, expect a chill. Again, last one I said, I took off Crow from the sidebar. We only have Syrup as the one outside the top 3, so it's going to be a very slow stream today. I haven't opened Binance Square. I'm an amateur. Let me get it up. Okay. And while I do that, let me read. To be the camels. As you normally line with throwing tests as you seem to buy. There was a lot. It was the buy was good. It was a lot of a range of things seen. A lot of nice cars seen. That's for sure. It made me appreciate because I'm big, right? I've got long legs and things, and I really appreciated because in Gibraltar, the taxis go up and down the rock as kind of one of the big tourist points, and they make a lot of money from it. So they have big cars to fit a lot of people in. So they have a lot of knee room when you sit in a taxi. So I don't really notice in Gibraltar because they have big cars for taxis. But then I went to Abu Dhabi and I just got normal taxis, or I just got normal taxis, and I noticed how small and cramped I felt, and I really appreciated Dubai because it allowed you to get bigger cars, depending on obviously what the taxi service apps out there, obviously depending on what you ordered. But I appreciated the bigger cars and the knee room, which was very, very nice. But I did enjoy it. It was great. Obviously, you got the CZ photo. It was just like a conveyor belt of people, boom, 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 photo. And I think he was wearing like lifts or something. I don't know how tall he was, because I'm a tall person, right? And he was here on me or something. So for him to be there on me is quite impressive. But he had new shoes, and the sole was generally that thick. So I think he was cheating a bit, but that's okay. That's okay. Anyway, let me get Square up. See what's going on Square. Hello to everybody on Square. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys for joining the stream. I should probably mosey on now to actually doing some charts. So let's do so. It's been a while, and I have a hesitance to do this. I feel, it's been a while, and I just want to get back into it. Okay, so this is the new chart. Now, don't hate it, but you see the background of it, same color as what we have going on. Now, the purple I think is a bit too dark, so I need to find a better color for the purple, I think. But I think it's all right for now. There's some white, obviously the white of the candle, and then the white of the bar, the lines is a bit garish. So I think I need to work on this. So suggestions are applicable, but I think this is okay. I think it's okay. So like I said, I zoom out and we look at what we have here. We don't have that many lines. We have a very select few lines. So we're gonna have to hold my hand while we do this, because it's gonna be, it's gonna be slower. I'm gonna be getting back into it. Looks fine. Yeah, I think cause I did this like, oh, this looks quite nice. It's just sometimes I zoom out and the white meshes together on the neutral blackish grey, kind of a slate grey. I think the purple's okay. I think I want it to be a tiny bit brighter, but I don't want to be too close to being white where they look too similar. So yeah, anyway, this is the theme, and there we go. So that's that out of the way. So I could give a little reminder, mainly for me actually, as to what we talked about last, and what we've been talking about when it comes to the span of since April, and then the highs in October time, and coming down to where we are right now. Obviously, hitting all the way down towards 81-ish K, whatever it was, 80,000, 8.5 basically. So we've obviously been talking about the idea that we can go. Mike had a very interesting comparison between here and here, which I thought was quite interesting. I'm probably not going to look at it, just because I want to kind of look at. I want the first stream to be me just looking at what's happened since I left, and since we've not been on stream. And just kind of give it a reminder to you guys of what I've talked about, what I talk about, and a reminder for myself even for what I talk about. So, So the main area we've been talking about has been from the low to the high between about 74.5 and 126 for the max high. Obviously, I don't think that's the max high. I think I need to anchor it. Actually, no, I don't need to anchor it. Well, whatever the exact price is, somewhere around it, whatever the exact price is. Obviously, talking about not exactly the exact blue line of 0705 or 0.705. Let me lock this quickly. There we go. But kind of just below 0.5, looking at where we can actually see behind us, which was mainly, I don't know what colour this is, purple. Don't want purple. What do I look like? Ooh, I don't know. There's a lot of new things that I need to think about. That's not bad. I'll do that for now, I guess. Yeah, it's all right. We'll work on it. I'll iron it out for next stream, especially. So it's not just so much looking at where these lines lay out, but more so looking at why we couldn't stop at these areas. And for me, what we have been talking about, in the past however many streams it's been, has been these main areas. I don't know if I want red. Might do that. Has been obviously this area. I don't like pink anymore. I don't want to do pink anymore. I'm going to be doing this a lot during the stream. I think. Do we try white? I'll try white for now, just as a simple thing. So mainly the looking behind us, in previous price action, as to where we can come to and stop at before we either continue to move upwards or stop moving upwards, come downwards again. All these sorts of things. Whether it be. Oh yeah, we are actually moving downwards now, we're continuing, whether it just be stopping points on the way downwards, or it be a turning point where, okay, we're still in this move upwards, we stop here and then go back upwards to here. Obviously, I don't know how this is going to be. Obviously, we'll be talking about the higher end of things, especially when I get more used to this theme. I do want to look at my 2026 year or 2025 year in review, I suppose. I did that last year as to my predictions for the year. I think I do want to do that. I think I want to not dedicate a stream to it, but plan it a bit more for maybe next stream to actually plan out what I want to say and think about what I want to see out of 2026 in terms of the charts. But obviously we will do that probably next stream. So kind of just looking relative to what we've done here and what I talked about last stream, I think is mainly the important part. So obviously coming to this area, not printing below 86.569 for the low end of this gap area. Also having these candles, obviously the lowest low before we move back upwards, coming into support area, forming support in this within these candles basically. So zooming in, I don't know if I want that on the screen actually. I'm going to delete that for now. So obviously this has been the gap area. Obviously it's on the weekly, so looking at the daily, printing lower than it isn't really going to be applicable because it's on the weekly, so there's not really much of a something to actually look at there. But main thing being this area as, okay, this is where we should in theory find support and then come back upwards now. So last stream, I don't know the exact date. I really don't know the exact date. It was probably within somewhere, it might have been, when was my last stream? I think, I don't know when my last stream was. I think I was definitely in Dubai for the first-ish. So it was some point. It was in this last week, I think. It was somewhere here, potentially. But I remember I was coming down to some of these areas. Maybe I watched it myself off stream. I can't remember. Basically, it was around about here. I remember talking about, okay, well, we've come into an area anywhere coming towards 89.5 for this top end, and obviously we've had certain areas. We came as low as about 81k. This is, I think, a lower time frame thing we have going on here. Not that high, I think, is on the daily here. Yeah, so basically this was the us moving past this low, having this last down close before we reverse back up. But you can see we have this down close, print above it here, and then you can see we come to this open here, and continue to support whether you believe in this or not, whatever. This is just what I have. So marking out that high. For the top end of where support should be, about 88.67 here. Scrolling along, we can see we kind of touched on that quite nicely there. I don't know what exactly I had drawn, and this is the thing, unless I spend multitude of minutes and minutes and just ages going back over the entirety of Bitcoin since the low ends of February, January time last year, I don't want to do that on the stream because it's going to take forever. It's going to take like 40 minutes just to do Bitcoin, and I'm going to be here for like 2 hours. So I want to do that off stream. I've been busy the last few days leading up to today, so I haven't really had much chance to go through the charts and match up what I have on my other theme and here. So I might miss in the stream. I might miss stuff I've already talked about just because I haven't seen it and I haven't really gone over the charts in thorough detail. So obviously, bear that in mind. But we have a very bare bones version of what I've been talking about, which is obviously coming to this area. General idea, okay, we have support, quote unquote. We want to go back upwards now and see an area. Whether that be a high where we don't go upwards anymore, we stop, or we continue to go higher, and this is our stopping point on the higher time frame being the weekly, and then we continue back to the highs. Obviously, that is an argument because again, I know Mike, if you've watched his streams, has talked about the matchup of. Let me see, what does this look like? Yellow's alright, I guess. It's doable. I think he was talking about this, something like this, and matching it with what we have over here. Kind of the sense that we have basically this reversal here, and we want to continue back downwards after doing this. This is arguable. Again, obviously, whether you believe in this or not, obviously, it's not financial advice, I should say. But it does, I could see it definitely if we come towards what we have on the weekly here, which gets towards about 99k, 100k. I think the criteria for this definitely, obviously on the weekly, we've had a singular line downwards. So whether we had high to a low here and we wanted a reversal, whatever we wanted to happen pre October time. The idea is we've had a direct line downwards and we've barely really gone back upwards. I don't know if I want to do white actually. I think yellow might not be bad actually. Yellow might be the strategy, I think. I think yellow might be I think yellow might be it because it's really it really goes against the purple and the black, so I might just do yellow. I think yellow might be the colour. So again, the idea of we just came down on a line, it's just one straight line downwards. Now going down or going upwards in a line doesn't mean you have to come back and rebalance and then go backwards. It doesn't have to happen immediately. It can take its time to happen, but it's normal, structurally sound moves. I would imagine, obviously not financial advice. Again, I'm not professional. Would want to come back upwards, let's say in this case, or rebalance, or any other key word you can think of to apply to this scenario. Basically come back upwards. In this scenario anyway, come back upwards. So coming from the fact that apart from this singular up close weekly candle on the 20th of October, or that week anyway, we hadn't had a singular up close in the entire month of, basically a month and a half, from October all the way to about the 17th of November, or 6th of October to 17th of November here. An entire period pretty much of complete negativity in Bitcoin and pretty much across the market anyway. So the idea, I wouldn't be surprised, and this is obviously the kind of concept we were talking about back in my last stream, some point in the end of November time, whenever that was, of the idea that, okay, well, we want to see a print, on the weekly, above 86.5, respecting this area we've talked about previously in this candle here, between 89 and 77, this massive down close candles here, and obviously this gap on the way back upwards, sitting 89, 87, 86k here. We want to see a print at least, or at most, we have to see print above that previous high in this gap, so that we can actually respect this area and then go back upwards. Obviously, we saw a pretty nice print there, really tight. Came back upwards a bit. Obviously, saw a bit of difficulty. Probably on lower time frames, we had rebalanced on this area here. Continued to stay in this area. Basically, the entire period I was gone, we didn't really do much in this area. We obviously came to our highs. We came to some lows. Kind of sitting in this area, especially these last four candles here, 1st of December to the 22nd of December, pretty much this entire time here. Over between, obviously I was away since the 14th, 15th, whatever it was, exactly I got back, and obviously the holidays here, so pretty much sitting dormant, not really doing too much. And obviously now entering into a period where we're actually starting to see some moves, some sort of a move upwards now. So looking at our previous move and trying to find what we can see. Not as because again, seeing 100k doesn't have to be our stopping point. It doesn't have to be a scenario where we've done this move and then we've had this move downwards and that we're going to see this here and then dump again below 74k. Okay, that's not what I'm exactly saying. and I do think I need some more nuance on the chart, which I need to do personally in my own time before next stream to really give a solid answer as to where I think we're going on the higher time frame. Obviously, that kind of ties into the idea of what I can expect from 2026 and reviewing 2025 for Bitcoin, and what we've talked about over the year. But I think my main part, and obviously again, it's saying this. It's like, okay, well, if I say this and I only stick to this, I'll be way too late to catch anything in the sense of, oh, we haven't printed past 74k, so we are okay. You know, we haven't done anything like that. We haven't printed past 74k, so we should be, you know, there's no reason to think, oh, we can, we're definitely not going to see anything higher than 100k. We're definitely going to dump towards 74k. That's not what I'm saying. But what I can definitely talk about, and I think I said the same words back in November time, what I can only say is what I think we're going to do in our local scope, which is coming up towards these 97, 98k areas, basically 100k. The top end of this gap on the weekly being about 99.2. Not saying we have to hit there, but as a general area. Again, we had this previous area here, which we can see. We had these this down close candle here coming into this gap area and then printing through it here. And then we can see we use this area pretty nicely here. I have a horrible drawing here, but right about where that high is, we can see we used it as a support area, and it came up one more time, finally reversing it, because again, we are at all-time highs. I'm not expecting massive support to be used, you know, when we're at 118k, for example. We're at all-time highs. We're eventually going to reverse and see a massive retracement. Again, once we have that period where we've done our higher low, and we've had our higher high, we are then, or I am then immediately expecting to, or wanting to see us retrace. And again, it might feel like it takes an absolute age, because obviously we're on the weekly. Again, this is a fractal. This is something you can apply on the 15-minute, and it can happen over a course of a few minutes. You know what I mean? So it's all fractal. It depends when we look at it. And we're looking at monthly, weekly scale here. So if we, you know, see it, again, we fail to print past this this high here, so we're not really expecting to see that massive retracement. Once we printed here, this was when, okay, cool, we've printed past this high, 7th of July. I don't care what's exactly happening in this intermediary. I only care to see us come towards somewhere below where every equilibrium is, wherever that may be on the range we have. And obviously, in this case, it would have been basically exactly where we are right now. The high between these two areas wasn't too much of a difference there. But I think what I will say is, especially in this range, is we definitely saw that move upwards. We definitely saw that that failed to print higher, and then that moved downwards. And again, I've already compared this to previous times where we've had periods where we've done all-time highs, had a period where we failed to print past that high, again signaling we're not really doing too well of a move. We've moved past that high and failed to print, and now we're starting to move downwards, which is kind of the key component, and then move past that low, but still find us a period of support, a period where we actually stop going downwards and then move back upwards again to print past that high. So it's not like this isn't something which can happen. You know, I'm not saying we are going to go down and we're going to continue to go down to 60k, because if we look directly left of us, we can see in this whole period of us moving upwards, we've had periods where we've failed to print past highs, found retracements towards points of support, and then go back upwards again. Obviously, you know, it's all relative. It's like, okay, cool. Until we see that print past that low, I'm not too concerned. In that regard. Again, this is the weekly. This will play out over a longer period of time. I'll probably give some more nuance to this next stream, especially. But there's two scenarios, and we can only really bank on one when we are in that scenario where, okay, cool, well, we have this period, and then we just stop going upwards and go downwards. You know, so we have that, and you can worry about that every time. You know, what about this area where we have the move up, move down, move upwards, fail, move down? What in this scenario stops us from just going downwards? You know what I mean? So, I think in this scenario, we're kind of in a scenario where a big deciding factor where we don't see higher and we actually come down pretty hard, like we did last time. Let's say, or not last time, but like we did back here. Or we have a period where we do continue to go back upwards and we have found support, which is what we have logically been doing, and then we come upwards. So that's kind of what I'm kind of not worried about, but what I'm concerned about on the higher time frame, which again I will talk about a bit more when we go to the next stream. So I will go to some daily now. I do want to go to actual relative time frame stuff. I will read the chat go quickly before I do that, but I do actually want to talk about what we're doing right now, and then give more focus onto what we could be doing in a long period of time next stream. So yeah. Let's see. Where did I not read? Let's see. Where I see a Tariq message. I decided not to sell my Sol until it reaches the $500 range. Do you agree? Well, we will look at Sol in a minute, or in a few minutes. In terms of $500, I can't remember what my prices have been so far. I can project, which is, you know, theoretical. Projections may not be perfect. But in terms of $500, I mean, it might not be bad. Again, I think if we continue to do what we're doing in terms of cyclical, I can never say that word, or circular cyclage. There's a word I can say which I can't pronounce. I do think Solana could. I do want to see it go past us. Again, I don't want to self-sabotage. I don't want to hold a lot of Solana and then go, oh, I don't want Solana to go upwards. But obviously I can only just look at what I see on the chart. So we will look at it in a bit more detail when we go to Solana. But I think one day I would like to see $500. I would hope so. I don't think at any point since last stream and now I would sell now. I wouldn't since the 22nd or whatever it was, November till now. I wouldn't have sold at any point. So in terms of deciding not to sell your Sol, if you mean since last time you spoke to me, I would completely agree with you. I wouldn't even bother selling at 120. That makes no sense. I don't really think that makes too much sense. Or 120, $130, whatever it was. I would rather wait as well. You know what I mean? Like, it depends obviously when you bought it, I suppose, and what you're happy with taking home. But because actual profit's better than no profit. But if you've bought within the year, whatever we've seen higher than 120, I would not even bother selling. But obviously, I was buying at $8, so I suppose it depends on obviously when I want to. I could sell at any price and still be in profit here. So it obviously depends when you're buying. So I could agree with you, obviously depending on when you bought. But either way, I wouldn't sell right now. We're at our lows right now. Like, we're at some lows. Whether we go lower or not, I do think we are going to see a period in the future where we go upwards a lot more than where we are right now. So I would obviously wait. You're stealing my chart. What do you mean I'm still? Oh, right. Well, I thought I would show it. It's interesting. I didn't even think to look back that far. So you know what I mean. What we have left of time? Yeah, very true. Very true. Only time tells. We are below the high time frame range and trading with an inside weekly candle. Take out the high into the liquidity gap, front run 100k and send back down. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I would hope so. I know what. I would rather want it to go 100k and then go lower, and it go to 150k, than want to go to 150k and it only gets to 100k and go lower. You know what I mean? So. Yeah. If we hit 260k, I would personally apologize. Yeah, fair enough. I don't know what he's yapping about. Yeah. Okay, right there. Very nice. 3 Tesla, Danny's Loma. Nice. Cozen egg. Oh, isn't that the? I can't remember which one that was. Check Crow. I can check Crow. I didn't actually draw a chart on that one. So what I did actually have Crow on the sidebar. I did add Crow, and then I saw the chart and went, I can't be bothered to look at this, but I will. If you want me to look at it, I will. I need a chop on this, so I will. I read the chat now, but yeah, it does seem like we're on the same page. Yeah, absolutely. I can see what we're talking about. I think whether it be exactly 100k, I don't know if. I mean, I guess we have somewhat, but I think it's mainly what I'm looking at here. Especially, we had this area here, which obviously we used here. Printing past it, we're gonna have this range here. You know, we do have some at 108. We do have the close of it as a reversal of the support to resistance. We do have the close of the candle, but I'm just going to be lenient, especially of confluences, I suppose. What can we match up? Well, we have this. We have a gap here which we used. We have now reversed it technically, so we could pay attention to the open of this gap, which obviously sits at around 97.880. We have the low of this candle, which is about 98.2. We have this gap on the weekly, which is 98.7 to 96. We obviously have the daily area, which is a bit lower down on the 97. I should probably look at this range here for a retracement. Actually, I should probably do that because obviously we've had these periods on the way down. We have the high to low retracement, high to low retracement, high to low. We haven't had that retracement yet, really. We technically have actually, but we didn't print lower. We have been wanting to go upwards, so we can see well above where we need to be aiming for is within toward 98k. So we do have these areas here. I think I had another line. I swear I had another line somewhere on my other chart, which I don't have here. I think it was something here. I don't really have. I don't want to pay attention too much to this because again I do want to move to Ethereum, Solana, and Syrup and Crow. I'm doing all of it tonight. So again, I think I will spend a lot more time, probably tomorrow, just getting it out of the way and looking at my old chart and moving it onto this chart. And I might change this purple. I think I might change purple to something lighter. I don't know. I'll work on it. But I'm just going to reiterate what I've said previously. Again, we do want to kind of enter. I think it'd be a good target to go for the high, obviously 94.5. But I don't really care exactly what's happening here. I'm more paying attention to where we would want to roughly go to. We didn't really have much reason to stop here. I'm looking at this price action. Obviously, we had, if we go from the high to low, we did tickle above equilibrium, which obviously we had these kind of equal highs here, which was a logical area to go, okay, cool, we could see something there. But in terms of our previous price action on the left, we don't have anything. We don't have much of a gap area per se. This candle isn't really much of anything to pay attention to. Weekly didn't have anything. I could probably go to the 4 hour, see if anything happened. There probably might be something here, to be fair. Maybe sitting at this first kind of reversal area here. We did tickle into there, but it's not really. There wasn't really much to say, I think, there in terms of a permanent stopping point. And then we obviously go to the 4 hour here, and we still have that overlapping area again between about 98 and 97. We do have something towards 100k, but I think for every time frame to have an overlapping area at about 97, 98k, I think that's my area. Or, as KB might put it, front run the 100k and come down. So I think that is really just where it is going to be, and that's what my reasoning is that area up here. It's well above when we need to go into. It's matching what we need to be doing. We're in a downtrend. I don't care what the weekly. I mean, in this period, you know, it's like, okay, we are aware of the fact that on the weekly we want to come towards these areas down here, right? But in this period from the highs to low, we're in a downtrend, so I can't be looking at, oh, well, you know, I want to go up eventually, so I'm going to front run the up move, even though we've got nowhere near it. This is due process. This is what we need to be doing over the long period of time on the daily. This is the normal price action. But obviously, to see us kind of have that low and then have that point where we stop, I definitely do want to see us come higher. But and this is the thing. This is what I'm saying now, and what I was saying earlier on the weekly, where this made sense because we hadn't hit our support point on the weekly higher time frame, and we were coming downwards to hit that area. But now that we've hit that area, is it going to be a scenario where we now don't want to continue to go back downwards and actually move up higher, which is obviously what I want to talk about on my next stream, I think is the main important part. But like I said, focusing just on the daily, lower time frame, 4 hour here, my target is going to be towards 97, 98k, towards what we have on the weekly, daily, and the 4 hour. So by the time I obviously have my next stream, we probably may be getting towards that area. We might not have hit it yet, so I have enough time to talk about the higher time frame and see whether I think this is going to be us seeing just a small retracement, or if this is our stopping point for the move down and we see even higher, or, you know, rip to 150k, 206k, whatever some of these people think. So again, we'll see. 97, 98k, I still think it's on the board. Ethereum. So again, drawing over what we had on the previous chart. Is this locked? No, okay. What do we have? So on the weekly, we had this area. We used it here, printing off the midpoint pretty good here. Didn't really get any lower than, it especially didn't print past the open of the area at 26.32. Pretty good. Normal price action here. Been using it really nicely here. Again, obviously, this has been over the period here, probably around about here. This is the period where I haven't looked at the charts too much. Pretty much since here. This is when I've not really been looking. So since here to here, you can see it's actually like net neutral. Like we since when I stopped looking at the charts and then have now started to pick back up on the charts, I don't care if we went up, we went down, we did this, that, the other. The price has been the same. So it makes my job a bit easier, because I'm going to be talking about the exact same thing, like I said. So in this period where I've not really been looking at the chart, we came back downwards to this midpoint at 27.81, which is pretty cool. We came up to the open of this candle, coming obviously into some of this gap area. Last up close, boom, putting through it here. and obviously having it as a resistance area. So looking at that area, we can see around about 3354, 3400, I should probably say, around about there, having a nice resistance point, which is pretty cool. A real nice support resistance point there. We had some more reasoning on the 4 hour, which actually goes into a bit more detail as to why we stopped, I suppose. Really good price action in this whole period, actually. A really nice price action, I should probably say. But sticking to the daily here, I think what my concept was, I shall still stick to. So what we have on, I'm trying to think as to what we had on Ethereum, which was relative to what we had on Bitcoin. I think we had I can't remember what it was. We had something of importance, I think. I definitely will be probably looking at us having this area on this candle here, coming down into this gap candle, printing upwards. We used it a bit of support in these areas. Obviously, as we continue down from all-time highs, again, it made sense. We're going to print past this anyway. So drawing kind of this area, I'll probably do it. I'll just do a range actually off the candle on the weekly. Obviously, it's going to be quite a big range, I should say. But that's kind of the area there on the daily. You can see actually really nicely we used it pretty nicely in terms of the midpoint, printing through it, used it quite nicely there, came down, then used the open. So I've been using this as resistance, but lining up what we have there as to what we have on weekly, daily. We don't really have much on the weekly. We do have something within 3, 6, 6, 7, and we don't really have much to look at on the weekly. I will say, unless we look at previous lows, which we've printed past, I don't really think that's much we can look at there. On the daily, though, we do have somewhat of an area we could pay attention to. What I will do as well is look at what we have here. We didn't really get to this equilibrium here, so we can continue this down to where we got to here. We touched it there, but I think it's the same thing as we have with Bitcoin. So again, this area, especially coming into about the midpoint of this pre-resistance, is well above where we could be targeting for, and obviously having this main area here. I'm gonna make this a different color. Let's make this, I don't know, yellow. So we have that area here about 3734. I'll probably give it about 3734. Sitting basically the open at the same place as the midpoint of here. Also, we have these 4 highs here from this midpoint. So wicking above them could be interesting. Printing, I would hope to see a print probably at 3648 at that midpoint to keep it as resistance. Again, doesn't matter because it's a weekly resistance. So daily printing past the midpoint doesn't matter too much, but seeing a print at least at this resistance, seeing us come above these highs and this high, seeing us come into this gap could be pretty, could be a pretty good resistance area. I think for me, and this is why I want to spend some more time going over it before next stream, is because we can see same thing with Bitcoin, same thing here. We have ever since the all-time high downwards. Really good move downwards. There's not really been a period, apart from maybe here. To be fair, obviously we did have this support point here, and obviously we came into here. So apart from this area coming into previous supports, we've not really had a period where we've had stability, where we've had a period where we've had doubt in the downtrend, if you will, or personally. But until we come past the equilibrium and to the point we want to see in 2800 area. Now we're starting to see a period where we've not really gone down. We've kind of hit a point of stoppage, which makes sense. This is kind of what we see on Bitcoin as well. And this is why I'm kind of on the fence as to, are we going to see a massive move down? Are we not going to see a massive move down? Is because we've done what we've wanted to do, which I wanted to do, which was come down to these areas on the high time frame, 2,800, Bitcoin towards about 86k. Obviously a massive low at 80k. Obviously I'll hold my hands up. Solana towards 126, I think it was. Serpent and obviously Crow outside of this scenario, but we've done what we wanted to do, what I wanted to do on the higher time frames. And what should happen in due process is we see that low and then head towards high again. But again, nothing really goes up forever. Especially if you look at Bitcoin, which we obviously have seen with Bitcoin. I don't know if we've seen it with Ethereum actually. Where I mean, because it's kind of I get it with Bitcoin. I do get it with Bitcoin in terms of there has been a scenario on higher time frames like the weekly where we've seen a move above a high and then failed to do a new high and print it all, and then had a period from all-time high to all-time low of this period, a year move down basically, and then start that move upwards. So this being
this, I think with this though is I know, back on Bitcoin, my nose is a bit blocked, son. I think it's messing with my breathing. Where this being a stopping point, not being a stopping point, and us going down, it doesn't just, obviously I know it matches up with this, but it doesn't just stop this move. It stops a move which we've been having from a move low to a high since November 2022. You know, we've been having this move for ages right now. Okay, so it would be a stopping point of supremacy. You know what I mean? It'd be a stopping point of supremacy. So would it be a scenario where we've had this move upwards, and then we have this weird move where we don't do that? Do you know what I mean? Like, we'd have this weird move where we don't do that, and then we continue back upwards. Is there potential to do it? I suppose, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's hard for me to say. My structural opinion is based on the fact that we have a high to a low and continue an uptrend, seeing that low, and then going, oh, actually, I don't think it's going to happen this time. It's harder, which is obviously what I'm going to talk about. But again, I'll just compare it to Bitcoin, and we have something similar to Bitcoin. Anyway, so will we see a stopping point here? And this is obviously what I'm arguing about. I think we will see towards about 3.75 for Ethereum ish. But do I think it's a stopping point? Time will tell. We will talk about it next stream in a bit more detail. But sticking to daily here, 4 hour. Let me delete this out of the way. So again, I do want to see it come past that high. We can see, especially on the 4 hour, we have seen it very kind of rough price action here, not really doing too much movement over this period, but we've seen it obviously hit into our areas pretty nicely. We've seen it have this really smooth move down, actually really nice move downwards. This has been really good structure over this period. Obviously, we've seen it have that print past on the 22nd. We've seen it start to reverse and continue back upwards here really nicely on the 4 hour. So in terms of what we are doing right here, we can see we've had a normal move from a low to a high, come past that equilibrium, we haven't had that move past that high yet. So it's really just looking at all this. So looking at this, when do we stop? Obviously, it could be here, it could be towards 3,300. So we haven't really seen that move past equilibrium yet. We haven't really seen that major move. So I could expect a larger retracement for Ethereum before we get to these 3,700s. Which again, like I said, this is, you know, getting towards 97, 98k for Bitcoin, getting towards 3,700 for Ethereum, getting towards whatever the exact thing is going to be on Solana when we look at it in a second. This isn't just a overnight thing. It's going to take a considerable amount of time. You know, so when we look at the weekly, this is weekly. This is going to take a long time to happen. So I don't think it's going to be, you know, we're going to wake up tomorrow and we're going to see ourselves at these prices. So I do think, you know, we can take our time when we talk about these areas. But like I said, we haven't seen that move upwards. But in terms of what we have, basically lower than this high. We don't really have much in this price action. We have the one thing which stands out to me is really going to be the range we have in these two candles here, which we can see we have this move upwards, move downwards, putting through the exact same gap area, and then we saw a bit of resistance, but again, we are at a way bigger higher time frame support point. We've also just printed past highs here to get us to have a high to a higher low. We're going to want to see that higher high. We also have a major area. We have major support logic, especially on the 4 hour. If we look at a bit deep on the 4 hour, we can see, you know, just below that equilibrium, we can see the major gap area here, where we have just this massive range going on. We have this massive move upwards, massive candle downwards past this low, and then we can see we print past it here with this. So we can see if we pay attention to this area, we had this support point here. If we go to the 1 hour, I want to see a bit more on the 1 hour. We can see, I should probably go back to it on the 4 hour. Where are we? There we go. So looking at this range again, and going back to the 1 hour here, we can see we had that. This whole area here was just a great area, and again we have another overlapping gap here, and then we had this gap here, which obviously sits in the same area, and then we had this gap here. So we have this tight little area here, which if we then cast it across, we can see was kind of the main area we were looking at when we had the whole support point. So when we go to the lower time frame to find the pinpoint area we should see a stopping point at, we have that order block midpoint, we have this major gap on the 4 hour, we have that smaller bounce price range on the 1 hour. We can see that's kind of where we sat at for a midpoint usage here when we came down, found a support, and then from there it's like, okay, cool. Well, we've used this area. For example, we had this move downwards. And then a tiny body print. This is going to be a rejection block here. Coming past this low, finding that support point for our major low. This is going to be the main area of support. So we can see we kind of printed that midpoint there using the top end of this bounce price range. Seeing at least a print above that low at 2888. We can see we came roughly to that midpoint here at 2911 for that low again. So we had good support. We had good support on Ethereum on the 4-hour, so I wasn't really, not really concerning that we would see lower than this. So from there, obviously expecting that high. From there, using this low to this high, we want to see that retracement. So same story with this, where we have this bounce price range. I want to go to the 1 hour here to see it in a bit more detail. We can see we kind of have it here. I suppose it's probably a bit more of a tighter range. You can see use it twice really nicely, especially printing here really, really well. Printing at that midpoint, printing at that high, using this this range here. Obviously, eventually reversing it, because again, I don't care what we have. On the 1 hour we have this resistance. Why are we not using this? Why are we not dumping to 2,800? Well, number one, we've just come from this major support point we have on the wider range as a whole on the 4 hour, but we have just reversed. We've produced that, like I already said, we've produced that higher low, that higher high. We want to see that higher low, which we've already produced. I don't want to have much bearing on an idea that we're going to reverse at 3,000 and come all the way back down to 2,800, because we want to see past 3,075. Logical, right? So from there, I want to pay attention to the reversal of that, so we can see from the low to the high, looking at also in this blue area, which is optimum, but I don't really pay attention too much to that. But we can see this is well below where we need to pay attention to. So relative to the 4 hour, if we don't see immediately 3,750 or whatever the exact price was, which I could expect us to happen, especially if we come up to some of these areas here where we have this whole kind of high end here of a tiny line you can't even see. We have this whole area here of highs, which we could just not even get past. We never have much on the day, to be fair, I suppose. I suppose we have a little range here. We had a little gap here. We then printed through it, tickled into it, so an inverse there. But we also have the price range here. Where's the square there is. So if we actually draw it across there, we can see that sits about 327. So, and also, actually, I didn't even notice, we have, if we go from the high to the low, we have the daily gap here. We have this daily gap. So we could probably print at, we could probably go quite deep into it, but in theory, maybe print it, hopefully at least print above 3,010, but probably on the lower time frames, working into that 2,995 area. But mainly looking at, we're quite high right now. I probably could see us get towards, this 3,270 area. That 3,270 area is actually exactly where these highs are. So we could potentially see something like this. This is also a bounce price range on the 4 hour here. You can see we have that gap here. We can see we came into this gap on the 4 hour, finding a bit of support. Obviously printing through this gap here and inversing it, finding this bounce price range and this inverted gap here, which we then use as resistance on the on here. So we could reuse this area. We have some highs we could wick past, maybe come to the top end at 3,287. So we have something here we could see a stopping point at. So I could see it, we've had this high. We could have a decent retracement on the daily before we continue back up towards, higher and higher things for Ethereum. So we'll see how we go. I could be completely wrong again. I'm rusty, okay? Give me some slack. We'll see how it goes. Obviously not financial advice. Solana, I need to chop because it's I've got 7 minutes and 45 seconds to cover Solana, Syrup, and Crow. So what we have the weekly highs. We have these two down close before this massive move upwards, coming past that low, and then obviously we printed above it and then used it as support. So we have a support area, midpoint. We have the open at 133. We have the midpoint at 125, 126, which is an area we've talked about for since the dawn of time, basically, since we've been streaming, I suppose. I've got really stuffy nose. Apologies if it's audible. So we can see really nice on the weekly printing at that midpoint. Really, really great there. Obviously daily, it's here and there. Again, it's more about the time frame to time frame. Because if you look at someone on the 4 hour, go to the 15-minute. 15-minute we've invalidated it. It's like we're on the 15-minute. So it's like daily to weekly. I don't care about daily printing through it a tiny bit. We've had a very nice usage here on the weekly. Very, very nice here. So anyway, I found that support cool. Same story. We have a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. This is why I want us to see that move upwards. And, in comparison, you can see clear as day how smooth of a downtrend we had since our high for Solana. Lovely down move. We had maybe something here. And again, I think this is actually something I had drawn. Again, I don't have everything drawn out we had on our previous theme. But you know, we did have something, I believe, somewhere this area at 1.7. I think I remember drawing it, maybe on the weekly. It might have been this down close. I can't remember. I think it was this order block. It was a breaker block range here. It was then a breaker block range here, and then we continue to do that. So I think this was a breaker block here. So if we draw that out on the weekly and then go to the daily, I think that's what I had drawn, if I remember correctly. So if we go to the daily here, so yeah, isn't that just perfect? It's, you know what, I'm back. Speaking of Solana, by the way, a very nice Solana Breakpoint t-shirt. I have a lot of t-shirts and caps and things which I might be using on these streams and showing. I got a really cool thing actually from I can't remember the names. Flux chart, rug pull XYZ, I think they're called. It's like a little chip, like a poker chip, or casino chip, I should probably say, where it has buy and sell on it and you can flip it. It's pretty cool. I might use that as a prop on the stream, but you can see anyway. Whatever. So we had a really, really lovely move down. You know, hitting that high end of that top. My camera's gone blue. Let me just make it not go blue, please. Please. Okay. So yeah, really lovely usage. Again, we had that breaker block on the weekly. We have the open of the breaker block being used here beautifully. We have that midpoint being used so many times on the daily here. So again, like I said, you know, we have such a smooth downtrend, but then we stop here. Why do we do that? Well, obviously we have that higher time frame support point. So we formed it here, used it beautifully, continued onwards, used it again, and obviously we then start to reverse. Again, we're coming into optimum area back here. Obviously had this gap, had the reversal here. We've already talked about this. Coming downwards, find that support, brilliant. Then printing through it here. So not only do we have same thing as Ethereum, this is exactly what I'm about to say. We have the midpoint of the gap. Same with Ethereum. We have a gap alongside the midpoint of this now breaker block on the high time, because you can see we printed through it here. I don't know what's happened then. You can see we had an order block here. You can see we had this down move into. Isn't this beautiful, guys? Isn't this beautiful? 126. We had this the weekly order block here. Using it on the daily here really nicely. We can see we used that here, producing a gap on the way upwards from. So again, we're in a point of interest. We've produced a gap away from a point of interest. We've then used that gap as support. Two down close, printing above it, using support. This is a perfect area. This is exemplar. This is 10 out of 10 here. Point of interest, gapping, fill gap, down close, printing above them, support. And that support is also on top of the open of this, or the high of this order block. It's just, it's poetry. It's poetry in candles. Using that beautifully there. So coming back to this, we used it beautifully here, whether that be the singular daily order block or the weekly order block here. We then came upwards, found resistance again. Obviously, we did kind of come into this gap. It would have been nice if we saw it at 156, but we didn't. Obviously, we came up a bit higher. We came into this gap again. We have the gap into this wider resistance point. I mean, I guess I could maybe look at this low. I don't really think this low is anything of importance. Regardless, coming down away from this area, reversing this order block, breaker block. What do we see then? Ba-dink, using it. What do we have here? Weekly. So again, this is a daily breaker block. This is a weekly order block. So this is why I'm not worried that we're printing past this. If this was a daily order block and we saw this printing past this midpoint and we saw this kind of shakiness, it would be I'd pay attention to it a bit more. But since this is a weekly pattern, weekly thing being drawn, I don't pay too much attention to that. But we have obviously a daily breaker block. So this is what I'm more paying attention to, printing past this. You know what I mean? So trying to print past this high or this midpoint, and instead of just trying to print above it and then rejecting, printing past it with another positive candle, actually coming above it. Also bearing in mind we had 3 equal highs here into a gap from here. So again, this was a bit of resistance. So this was a massive resistance area here. Wicks, gap, top end of a breaker block, just massive resistance as a whole. And obviously from there continuing downwards, finding support. But can we see higher? Well, if the market continues higher, I would like to see it. So in terms of our theoretical, where could we see the high point being? Where could we see that high point? Where could we see the daily stopping point? Well, we have the midpoint of a weekly breaker block at the midpoint of a gap. We also have the range trend downwards. We haven't got to this equilibrium yet. So you can see on the way downwards, we haven't got to any of these equilibriums. So drawing the entire range out, you can see equilibrium sits above 160. So I could expect Solana, I would like to see, not financial advice, Solana reverse this or break a block to an order block, continue to use it. We need to get past this gap. Not too much difficulty here. I suppose there could be a order block here because we have these up close candles into a gap, into weekly breaker block here, and then we print past it in this candle, and then you can see we kind of come back into this here. Actually, I want to see this on the lower time frame. I want to see how this looks on the lower time frame. I'm actually interested to see how this looks. Yeah, that's really nice. That actually, well, we didn't quite get to that midpoint to be fair, but you know, it's quite nice usage. We have the high to the low. We then come downwards. As soon as we print past it, retracing into the gaps, continue back downwards. Anyway, so whatever, we have this area nonetheless. More importantly, so we could be, we could have difficulty there. Apologies for the bike. So we could fill this area 150, wicking into 160, but I don't care about that. I care about us coming up to that area. What I will say with Solana though, as a opposition between apologies, between Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, I have such a stuffed nasal area. It's difficult to speak. Bitcoin and Ethereum have had those print past those highs to get up to these higher areas on, on the daily time frame. However long this is going to take. Solana hasn't had that really. We've had these highs. We've slowly seen a bit of a print high, print low. Our latest major print in terms of a high to low on the daily shenanigans has been a print lower than at 121 at, coming towards 117. That's not great in terms of matching up to what we have on Bitcoin and Ethereum. So my confidence that we're going to reverse this isn't as high as we have already with Bitcoin and Ethereum, but we can still hold hope. Again, what I was looking at on Ethereum was the 4 hour. We had these lows. We did have a major print past these lows, but you can see we have that move downwards. We're starting to come back upwards. Could we see us try to get to 144? We might see it. Out of anything I've talked about, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, I'm more on the fence about Solana than anything else so far. But I can still see, relative to a market trend, if Bitcoin's going upwards, Ethereum's going upwards, I want to see Solana go upwards. Obviously, that's going to lead into it coming into its significant place, which could be 176. That's my price. 176 could be the price for Solana in terms of this medium range trend upwards, which we're seeming to have across Bitcoin and Ethereum, which we could potentially maybe do on Solana, but I don't want to confirm that because we haven't actually done anything which convinces me on the daily anyway that we're actually going upwards. We've actually done more negative where we've printed past. You can see we've had these down closes. We didn't really quite print past this the open or the high of this candle. We didn't really have an order block here per se, but we did print past these lows nonetheless, and obviously find resistance here, or find some support, I should say, in this whole area. So we actually put it in lower than, we actually printed past the low, and we haven't printed past the high. We haven't categorically started to go upwards in that sense, if you will. Also, concerningly, on the weekly, we've printed past this low. We're actually moving downwards. We should be moving downwards. Ethereum had the retracement higher. Had the retracement lower to go higher. Bitcoin had the retracement lower to go higher. Solana had a retracement to go retracement higher to go lower. This is not what we see across the board. Bitcoin retracement to go higher. Ethereum, we had this really weird price action where we kind of do this, where this is actually a pattern. This is actually a mitigation, but I'm not gonna get into it. I should probably look at it on the monthly to be fair. But anyway, we had this move past this high where we've actually gone from a low to a high. We want to see that retracement. We failed this. We haven't stuck with this. Even though we printed past this low, it's whatever. The main area I'm paying attention to is this move upwards, and we wanted to have that move downwards over here to then go upwards again. That's what we had here. Bitcoin, we were already in this move upwards. We wanted that retracement to go higher. Solana, we have this move upwards, printed past this low. We wanted to see lower, and we did. Key point. We had this move upwards. We printed past this low, retracement for a lower high, and then it's coming down. What does this look like? Do you know what I mean? Like, this looks like what Bitcoin might do. I know it's ding ding. I know I know I'm over, but I still have Syrup to glance at and Crow to glance at. But what does this look like? You know what I mean? Like, you know, this is really messy. Do you know what I mean? Like, what does that look like? So, anyway, it's a different story. But regardless, even on a move downwards, we can still have that move upwards. So again, I'm reserving that for another time. Actually, what I should say on the weekly as well, we also have another gap. We have this support midpoint. We also have a gap between 171 and 178 on the weekly. And the 4 hour, we might have something. Yeah, the 4 hour, we have this whole range here. We have this whole void range. We have multiple candles downwards, which also sits in the midpoint at 176. I think 176, Ethereum has 3750, Bitcoin has 98k-ish. Those are my prices. So, Syrup, quick glance, move on, and then I can leave you guys to have a great rest of your evening and whatnot. So, obviously, we've already talked about this previously. You know, high, low, high, printing past the high, low, boom, higher, low, boom, higher, high. Massive weekly resistance. This is, I didn't want to see this. We have a bounce price. We don't actually have a bounce price, not bad. We have the weekly resistance, though. We're kind of seeing resistance there. It's not great. What do I think? We probably will see a move downwards from Syrup. Well, even if we see 40 cents, we might move downwards again, but I'm still positive. On the weekly, on all this, I don't care what Bitcoin, I don't care what Ethereum, I don't care what Solar's doing. This is its own entity. I care that we're doing this. I care that this is what we're doing. You know what I mean? I care this is what we're doing. I don't care exactly what we're doing. Boom. 69-cent Syrup in the future. I don't care what we're doing right now. Screw you. Crow. So like I said, I didn't have anything drawn for this. So what I'm going to do, I don't know what I'm going to do actually. I'll probably just, I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess, I don't really want to look at this. It's just awful because this move upwards, this was during the period, I believe, of, or this period move upwards. No. We started going upwards from Crow got added to the reserves. Crow started getting used on Truth Network, I believe. There was a bunch of positivity. We then ripped upwards. I was negative Nancy. I wasn't negative Nancy enough. I thought it was going to do like 17 cent, 20 cent. No, we're at 10 cent. We came as low as 6 cent. So not great for Crow. Not happy days. Will we see happy days? I wish. To be fair, on the weekly, there's not really much. Like, apart from some highs, we don't have a gap. We don't have anything. Apart from getting towards 18 cent. We're pretty good, actually. Will we get to there? I don't know. Well, I mean, look at how many times we've done this. We've come upwards. We came all the way back downwards. We came upwards. We came all the way back downwards. We came upwards. We came all the way back downwards. So, could we go upwards all the way back upwards again towards 44 cents? I guess only time will tell. You know what I mean? Like, we have this whole period where we come right back down to where we were. You know what I mean? Maybe you want to see that again. What I will do is I will actually do Crow TA. Actually, no. I'll see what we're doing on the daily 4 hour. I'll see what I can give in terms of actual tangible something you can trade with. Not financial advice, not trading, because obviously I'm not a financial advisor. We've had a nice rip up, I suppose. Getting towards this high, we wicked past it. Came back downwards. Continued to go upwards. Could print past this high. This is kind of like we had this low high, kind of inter-range low high here before we came back downwards again. So we could maybe look at some of these lows. We've obviously printed past this major low here, but on this kind of, if we kind of really mark this move downwards, we've already kind of printed past this, I suppose, you know, getting towards printing past this. So we could, looks like we're trying to reverse anyone on the 4 hour and actually start to go a bit higher for Crow. In terms of where we could go to, looking on the daily, what do we have in terms of this downtrend? Well, we haven't got to any of these. You know, if we go from this to this, we didn't really get to equilibrium there. Did we get to equilibrium here? Well, actually, this one was a bit, you know, this one's not really fair because we did that. So we did technically do that. This, we didn't do it. We didn't do it here, all the way to these lows. So, you know, in terms of what we have from the highs to the lows, from this whole range, it looks like we want to go towards here. We had a gap. We had this up close. We printed through it here. So we definitely have something to look at here in this range here in terms of an area to find resistance at. Again, obviously forming it, finding resistance, continuing downwards. So we do have something there, which obviously is above equilibrium. So maybe you can get up again. Maybe Crow can do something. I don't know.
Okay, now we hate Crow. I don't hate Crow. I don't hate it. I don't like looking at the chart because it makes me feel sad. I like Crow. But I mean, it doesn't look... It's not the most beautiful chart I've ever seen in my life. It's hard to look at. It's hard to draw on because the price action sucks. But I mean, this is probably a strong resistance area. Again, we had some equal highs here. We had this gap coming from this whole period, coming into it, printing past it really strongly, not even coming back to it, just absolutely dumping. So we probably could see something about 13 cents. Could be a bit of an area to find difficulty at. Also, bearing in mind we had the high to the low here. Equilibrium is within about 13 cents as well. So if we do want to see a retracement for this wider range move downwards, because again, technically we did have this period from the high to the low, equilibrium, high to the low, back above equilibrium here towards 16 cents, high to low. Haven't seen it here. Haven't seen it here, haven't seen it here. So we do maybe want to see that move upwards towards 13 cents. That's the only sort of potential positivity I could see right now for Crow. It's not looking great. I mean, unless some sort of massive thing happens, Trump goes, oh, actually, I think that we should do this with Crow. I guess we did have this. We do have this area. We did still see this as support. I don't count this because on the weekly we didn't print past it. Printed very nicely here, so we do have somewhat of positivity. We haven't printed past that low on the weekly. We've had a massive move upwards, massive move down. We have found support higher than our previous low, which was round about 6.068. So technically, we are technically still in an uptrend. I hold my hands up. We are technically still in an uptrend. Over here, on a technicality, we never printed past this low. We came upwards. We came upwards. We never printed past this low. We came upwards. Our low is now here. Obviously, we did wick past the low, but we didn't print past it. And we've actually, in terms of our actual print, we've printed higher than our previous low at 0.069. So technically, we could be continuing... The camera's gone blue. Hold on. We could technically... We have had a higher low. We could see Crow. Boom, here we go, Crow. 40 cent Crow. Here we come. Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just be conservative. We have come down. We found a good support area in this buy area. We don't have anything on the weekly here. We really don't have much. We don't really have much all the way up until basically about 18 cent, realistically. But on the daily, we have something. We have 13 cent. So you know what? Crow could go upwards. Bitcoin's got 98. Ethereum's got 3,750. Sol's got 176. Crow might have 13 cent. That's what I'll leave it off with. We're 10 minutes over. I did start the stream 2 minutes late, but comes on blue again. It doesn't matter. You know what? It doesn't matter. Thank you. I want to say thank you because it's been the first stream back. I felt a bit rusty. I've got back into it. I think with Ethereum, I was getting back into it a bit more. I will try and move over some of the critical parts of my TA from my previous theme to this. I don't mind the purple. I might make it a lighter pink or maybe not yellow. Yellow might be a bit garish. I don't know. I'll think about it. I did actually have a cool thing going on where I had this top ticker thing, which was like zoomed in, but you can see how it kind of chopped. Whoops. You can see. There we go. You can see how it chops it up a bit. Do you know what I mean? Like I turned it off last minute. I'll see if I can work on it to zoom it in, but hopefully you guys can still see the crow in the top left and see what coin I'm looking at. I think you can. And you can see the price on the right. You can see what our price is currently at. So, yeah, I think that's pretty good. Anyway, that's it from me. Thank you, all of you, for joining me on the first stream back in 2026. The first Oracle chart stream since 2026. I haven't looked at the Square chat. I've been neglecting the Square chat. Not too much chatter. Someone said, I'm in a short. What do you think? Just started a short, I mean. I don't know when that was said. If that was said for Crow, I know. You know what? I'm pretty positive across the board in terms of maybe not tomorrow, maybe not the day after, but I'm pretty positive. So I don't know when you got in. I don't even know what coin you're talking about. All I'll say is I think over a decently longer period of time, if you're someone interested, the 1 second, this is going to be an eternity for you. But I think at some point we'll see some of these higher prices. So maybe not. My bias is bullish.
But yeah, that's all I'll say. Obviously, depends on what coin and when, but doesn't matter. I'm in the stream anyway, so it's too late. Thank you. I'll be back, I think, Thursday. So we have, I think, Maple on Wednesday. Thursday, I think I'm recording, but I'll stream. So that'll probably be same time on Thursday. So by then, I'll have carried over the important parts of my charts from my old theme. So hopefully I can talk about 2035 in review or something like that. Maybe I'll theme the Thursday stream. But yeah, I think that's it really. I don't think we've got much else going on until then. So, and I'll probably stream Saturday as well, obviously with the gap between Thursday and Saturday. So yeah, I think I'll see you guys Wednesday then for the Maple quiz. If not, if you're back on the stream, I'll see you Thursday. I'll be. I think I'm trying to do a in the trenches with Alex, which would be pretty cool. So, yes, you have that to look forward to, I suppose. Thank you for bearing with me on this first stream back. I'm getting back into it. I will obviously be a lot more sharper when it comes to Thursday. So, see you guys on Wednesday if you're there for the quiz. If not, I will see you guys back on Thursday. Good luck out there with these treacherous charts. My bias is bullish. That'll be my final call. So, thank you, all of you, for joining. I'll see you Wednesday. See you in Telegram. That's it. Have a great rest of your evening. Have a great rest of the week up until I see you again, obviously. And hope you had a good Christmas and or holidays and or New Year. Thank you. Until next time. Goodbye.